It's two dudes with attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and MWO. And this is our AEW edition. We're going to talk all things just Dynamite. Collision was way too long ago, so we're going to do Dynamite. Next week, we'll then do Collision playoffs and then Dynamite after that. But this week, just the four key things from Dynamite. Ryan, I know you have mixed feelings about this. You were slowly becoming an AEW nut hugger. And now when all the AEW nut huggers are saying it's the greatest AEW has been, you're starting to then go back to WWE. You're one confusing man, but you likes what you likes, I guess.
Yeah, right now you can say I'm a little confused. But yeah, like we haven't done an AEW episode in a while. We didn't. It's been since I think maybe before Revolution or maybe after Revolution. I think
before spring break, so 4 weeks ago probably.
And so we missed Dynasty. We didn't talk about Kenny Omega and MJF, but we definitely missed last week when Darby Allin became the new world champion. And I got to be honest, man, I did not like that decision. I know Darby Allin's an AEW original. He's an AEW guy. But taking the title off of MJF at the time when he was red hot, beating the likes of Hangman Page, beating Kenny Omega, beating Swerve, beating like everybody that was in front of him, beating Brody King, like you take the title off of him. AEW had the best ratings they've had in a while. They were drawing the best numbers they were drawing in a while, and I think a lot of it was because of MJF. And now you take it off and put it on Darby Allin, and I thought that was a bad decision. Even if you put it back on MJF at Double or Nothing, you killed his momentum going into All In. So, and I don't like that at all.
My thing is, I've been a firm believer and a supporter of Darby Allin winning the world championship. I thought it should have happened a year ago when he climbed Everest and he came out and he wrestled Mox. They should have done it then. There was no MJF back. The ratings were whatever. They had no Swerve. They had no Ospreay. This was a time to put somebody like that. Now you have all your stars. Everyone's back. The shit's cooking. And then you give it to Darby. And here's my thing. I don't hate Darby winning it. It is what it is. It's their choice. You get to decide who's champion. But I don't like a squash match. And that's what really pissed me off, because I think that hurt MJF's match against Kenny Omega, making it look like Kenny Omega had to basically kill himself and still lost, but Darby squashes him. And then it hurts Darby because that's probably the only time he'll ever win this title. And that's how he won it. Not like in a grueling beating up Darby like they had against Ciampa. Like that match would have been the match that should have happened against MJF, and it didn't. Now, with that said, if the funny thing with AEW hardcore fans that they loved it, right? The hardcore fans. But do you remember when Brock Lesnar squashed Kofi Kingston to win and beat him in the title?
Oh,
the world was so upset. How dare you squash somebody? This and that, but they're okay with Darby doing it to MJF. It's just, I love hardcore fans. Now, I do, so people know that hardcore is a nice word of saying a nut hugger, someone who only watches one product, because those are the worst fans in the world. I'm sorry if you're those fans. I like you because you listen to us, but if you can't see fairly on both sides, then you're not truly a pro wrestling fan, in my opinion. But the ones who only see one-sided, the fact that you can get mad at one thing and not the other is always funny to me. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. But Darby's the champion, and it looks like he'll have it for at least a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Even if you keep it on him until Double or Nothing, or maybe even beyond that, because all the rumors are saying we're going to get Ospreay, which we'll get into that too. Ospreay versus MJF for the world title at All In, but I'm not so sure about that anymore. So, because of the trajectory Will Ospreay's on, I don't know if MJF's guaranteed to get the title back. I don't know, but it was a questionable decision putting it on Darby Allin at this juncture.
Well, momentum means nothing in AEW, just so you know. Darby had no momentum to get the title, and he just got it. So they could just throw Will and MJF together like nothing. But with that said, Ryan, let's get it started. Let's hit that music.
All right.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all Lee, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
All right, well, let's get into it. Dynamite, for most fans, have been saying it's been cooking as of late. They like the stories. They like the matches. They're obviously having title changes on Dynamite, which people enjoy and appreciate. And this Dynamite had a lot going on from beginning to end. Whether you liked it or not, it was pretty impactful. So let's start at the beginning, Ryan. And Dynamite opened up with a very, very angry MJF. MJF came out upset. He got cheated. Aubrey, whatever, Edwards cheated. Everybody cheated. His shoulders weren't even on the mat, and he wants Darby Allin to come down right this second and give him back his title. And out comes Kevin Knight, somebody else we didn't talk about. And Kevin Knight's reminding me a lot of Kyle Fletcher right now, where it's like a guy who I don't see a lot in. I don't really see star. I'm not saying he's not good, he's not talented, but I don't see what all the AEW hardcore fans are seeing. But when Tony Khan wants to push someone, Tekla, he goes ahead and does it. So that's Kevin Knight right now. He's a TNT champion, and now he's challenging MJF, and MJF mocks him, says the TNT titles for babies, for amateurs, for mid-carders, for people who have a ceiling. He does not have a ceiling. Kevin Knight doesn't like that, so they will wrestle next week for the TNT title. Like I said, you don't need momentum. It just comes out of nowhere in AEW because they don't build a lot of stories unless they are building stories, because they do sometimes and sometimes they don't. What say you? What do you like this? And are we actually like, how do we result this next week? Because is Darby going to cost MJF the match? Like, what are we doing here next week? MJF's going to lose again?
Well, no, I think MJF's going to win, and I think he's going to be the TNT champion because and I think they told us that at the end of Dynamite when Darby Allin cut that promo right when MJF came out, right before his match, and he was like, "You're not getting another title match, Max, and you're going to have to earn it, or you're going to have to put something on the line." AKA, like it'll be title for title, or the winner gets both belts or something. And then,
wow,
I really think that's what they're doing. So I think they're going to take it off of Kevin Knight, and then MJF is going to agree to get his Triple B back. He's going to put the TNT title on the line, and that's going to convince Darby to give him the rematch.
Title versus title. Wow.
Yeah, that's my theory.
And you think Kevin Knight losing it already is a good thing? That's pretty quick.
No, I don't think it's a good thing at all. I don't like the fact that MJF's competing for the TNT championship. I don't like the fact that the TNT title is going to maybe change hands yet again after Kevin Knight just won the damn thing at Dynasty. I don't really. I mean, MJF is, no offense to the TNT championship. I mean, I know every pillar has had it. Sammy Guevara, Jack Perry, and Darby Allin. But MJF's bigger than that championship. He doesn't need that championship. And, but if this is a way that gets him his title and this is what the AEW wants to do, then I guess that's what they're going to do. But I do have a feeling Kevin Knight's not winning next week.
Wow. That would be – here's the thing. If you're truly going to take the belt off of Darby only to get the MJF back and you want to build momentum off of that, continuing with ratings, having MJF be a double champ is the way to go. So –
I do agree.
That would be pretty big. And if they have a lot of titles, not like the TNT title's that important.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind them if they unified the championship or something and we get rid of the TNT title. But yeah, like I could see MJF like taking it and, saying that he's the new face of TNT. He's got he's got the executives behind him. He's got the best ratings. He's going to bring prestige back to this championship. But I wholeheartely believe he's winning that thing next week. And
wow.
he'll be double champion going into All In.
All right. I mean, that's a prediction right there. Well, first Darby has to get over somebody else, but we'll get there later. Well, something that has had a story, Ryan, that you have enjoyed, that one Copeland and Christian versus FTR. They've had a story for a long, long time.
It's still going on.
It's still going on. I'm not going to hate it because I say AEW needs stories, so they got stories, but Copeland and Christian lost, man, and now they get an instant rematch, and 75-year-old Edge was cutting a promo basically saying, I know what you guys will like if we have a street fight. And I was like, why would they want to wrestle you again? But he added, if they lose, Copeland and Christian will never be a tag team again. They're going to wrestle next week. What say you? Or not next week. I think it's Double or Nothing.
Yeah, I think it's Double or Nothing.
It is. They're not going to wrestle on Dynamite. So what say you? Do you like this? And do you think it's final? I mean, obviously this means Copeland and Christian are winning the tag team titles. They're not going to – they didn't do all this and put them together to have them wrestle FTR twice and be done. I don't see that happen.
I don't mind this so much. I think it's been a good story that they've been telling, and I was actually surprised and shocked that FTR retained in Canada at AEW Dynasty, which is where both Cope and Christian are from. So I thought for sure they were going to win it there. So AEW got me. I'll give them credit. They got me with that one, with FTR retaining. But now it's time to wrap this story up. It's been going on since before All In of last year, and here we are almost at All In of 2026. Like, it's time to wrap this story up and put the titles on Christian Cage and Adam Copeland, and let FTR go on and feud with other people, and let Cope and Cage bring some momentum back to the tag division. So we got to wrap it up at Double or Nothing.
Well, AEW definitely pulled a Vince McMahon, the whole you're not going to win. It's your hometown, you're losing.
Yeah,
they definitely pulled that. Yeah, but I mean, who doesn't want to see Edge and Christian one more time? I feel like they're going to do the photography thing. I feel like they're going to do all their old tactics. I hope they go full. And I know they've been doing pretty good with the whole Cope is Cope and Christian still like a bad guy talking about dads, which I dig. But they can do that and still add in a little bit of old school flair. I think it'd be nice to see them have the titles to All In or something, and then lose it, and then they can split up. But this is kind of what we wanted. Or maybe they go until they both retire. I mean, Edge was looking super old in that promo. Maybe they'll, like Sting, retire as a tag team champion. I'd be good with that too. But I'm pretty sure they're going to win, and I'm here for it because they got phenomenal chemistry with FTR. The match will be bananas. Yeah,
and if there's anything that Tony Khan has proven over the last, 6 or 7 months or so, or over the last 7 years since he's owned AEW, he's a diehard Attitude Era fan. He's a diehard WWE fan. I mean, you watch Ciampa's heel turn, it's identical to the one that he did in NXT when he turned on, I think, was it Adam Cole or Johnny Gargano, one of them. The way he turned on Mark Briscoe, it was spot on, exactly the same. And then, just a couple weeks ago, he had Chris Jericho bring back the list gimmick, which was his popular thing in WWE. So I wouldn't be surprised if he brings back Edge and Christian, and they do the flash photography, and they do some of their old, their totally reek of awesomeness stuff. And I'd be here for it, man. I think it'd be great. And we know Tony Khan loves that stuff.
Bring back the glasses, Christian. That's all I got to say.
And I wish Christian had long hair, though. He was awesome when he had long hair.
Yeah, I don't think he can. Have you seen? He barely has hair to be. His hair is fighting for its life right now on top of his head. His hair is how my hair would look like if I grew it. And I'm like, oof, I can't do that. I don't know how he can still do it, but to each its own. Well, something that really confused me, and yes, I know there's story behind it because Don Callis wrestles against every single person because he has the NWO 79 members in his crew right now. But we had Will Ospreay versus Mark Davis, another person that I have not seen potential in. I have no idea why the hell you would push Mark Davis. But not only did Mark Davis wrestle Will Ospreay, Mark Davis beat Will Ospreay. Now, he did a devastating finisher on the outside. I'm glad that for once AEW and Will Ospreay sold a damn move and he didn't just pop back up. So I am thankful for that. I just don't is Mark Davis next up? If Will Ospreay's like the Seth Rollins of WWE, right? You don't have Seth Rollins lose, you know what I mean, to a random dude in the back. You don't have Seth Rollins lose to Matt Cardona right now, and I love Matt Cardona, but he's just not there. You don't have him lose to Mark Davis. It made zero sense. But what made even more sense was the Death Rider slid in, ran off Mark Davis, and then carried him off like a omen, like they were going to go sacrifice him, or I don't know. So Davis wins. Will Ospreay is joining the good guy Death Riders, or are they priming him up for something? I'm very, very confused on what we're doing here right now with this whole story. I'm not saying I hate it. I don't not like it. I'm just saying I'm confused.
I'm going to tell you, I don't like it. I don't like this at all. I don't like, the rumors, and obviously it's all social media fan speculation, but the rumors are that Will Ospreay was supposed to wrestle in the main event at All In for the World Championship against MJF, and that when he came back, they were going to build him up. But he came back and he lost to Jon Moxley at Dynasty in a match that I don't understand. And then lately, he's been taking all these crazy bumps with his neck and all these things. And it's like the dude just had neck surgery, but okay, keep going, keep doing those scary spots on the side of the ring. But are the Death Riders baby faces? Are they heels? Like what? I don't understand what this story is doing. I don't really understand. John Moxley's been acting more heelish towards Will Ospreay because they took Ospreay out, but he's also been a babyface. He's like shaking hands with all these other wrestlers that he's been. I don't understand like what's going on. I don't like this story. I feel like this is just a way to get us like we got to get through Double or Nothing, and then we'll get Ospreay back on track, I guess, for All In. If that's the angle that they're going, I could also see them dragging this out to where we get Ospreay versus Moxley for the Continental Championship at All In instead of Ospreay versus MJF or Ospreay versus Darby Allin. So I could see them doing that as well, but I'm just not feeling the story right now.
Yeah, I mean, I get why not, why you don't. I'll wait for it to play out. Hopefully they have a plan, an idea. I don't know if Will Ospreay's really going to join the Death Riders.
No,
maybe they brought him in and they're beating him up. I don't know what they're doing, but why save him if you're just going to do it yourself? I don't know, but time will tell. We might find out next week, for crying out loud. Who knows? Or maybe they'll be off TV. Well, no, Moxley's always on TV.
Did they save him or did they kidnap him? Like, what are they?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I don't understand. Like, are they going to have a ransom next week for, if you to his Alex Winter or Alex Winter? If you want to see Will Ospreay again, you pay us $10 million. Like, is that what they're? I don't know. But I don't like. I don't care about this story anymore.
Yeah, me neither. All right, last thing up, we're talking about the main event. Darby Allin versus Ciampa. I'll let you take it. You can lead it. I feel like you're a little bit more passionate more than I am, but it included MJF and Brody King as well. Take it away, Ryan, and I'll rebuttal you.
All right, so we open up. First, MJF comes out, and that's when Darby Allin, he demands that his rematch. He wants his title match right now, and that's when Darby Allin tells him, you have to earn it, which I can't. I'm so sick of that narrative with with MJF. The dude was just the champion, and you're making him. He has to earn a rematch. I know he's a heel, but like Christian Cage and Adam Copeland, literally in the segment before, lost the tag team titles and they're like, oh, we want a rematch, and if we lose, we'll retire. But they get a rematch without having to earn it. So why can't MJF? Plus, also, I think being the champion automatically makes you worthy of getting a rematch. But anyway,
yes.
And that's when Darby Allin says, you have to put something on the line in order to, or you go to the back of the line in order to face me, or it was something along those lines. And that's what made me think that he's winning the TNT Championship next week. But then Ciampa, man, Tommaso Ciampa comes out, and he is a complete and utter badass. I love this guy. I think he's been fantastic in AEW. I know he won the TNT Championship after like 11 days and then dropped it randomly and controversially, mind you. But this guy, I feel like his entire AEW run so far has been way better than anything he's done in WWE on the main roster. Not so much NXT, but the main roster. He's the real deal. This guy's incredible. His song is good. His look is impressive. And then the way that he, gave MJF the kiss of death, essentially, was fantastic. All of it was great. And then we get to the match, and I thought Ciampa was fantastic in the ring. Darby Allin was just like a crash test dummy out there. It's like watching a car accident. What's he going to do now with his body? What's he going to do here? What's he going to do there? And I know a lot of fans dig that stuff. That's just not my cup of tea. There's people that are saying that match was better than CM Punk and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Both of them are 5-star matches. I'm like, no, this match was not it. Ciampa brought it. I love what Ciampa did. Ciampa can wrestle with a mop and it'll be entertaining. But I'm just not feeling Darby as champion. And then, like we were saying offline, you have Ciampa give MJF the kiss of death, and then he goes into the ring, and not only does he lose to Darby Allin, he taps out to Darby Allin.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. I was just like, huh? You're going to make him tap out? And then Brody King comes out and cuts another promo. He cut a promo earlier after I can't remember who he beat. Oh, he beat Leo Rush, and struggled against Leo Rush. This is the same guy that squashed MJF, also squashed MJF before the show in New York, Grand Slam, or Australia rather. He also squashed MJF, and then he struggles against Leo Rush. He cuts a promo saying I'm proud of you, Darby. I'm keeping an eye on the main event scene. All of a sudden we're best friends. And then now Brody King gets a title shot next week against Darby Allin without having to earn it, mind you. But MJF has I don't understand.
Yeah, look, Darby Allin and Ciampa was not Roman Reigns and CM Punk.
No, not at
that
all.
shit right there. But I did enjoy this match. The one thing I did like about it was that yes, Darby Allin got beat up. They did some moves that they shouldn't have done. Darby Allin's only going to last so long in this world, but he did get offense in too. He busted Ciampa up pretty bad. He put in work. It wasn't just like he was a complete crash test dummy. He did have offense, which he didn't have in the past. So they have upped him a little bit as the champion. I think the thing is that he's the champ, and it just is what it is, right? He doesn't look, people are like Mick Foley, Jeff Hardy. So he's none of these guys. Jeff Hardy's way bigger than him. Foley was a way bigger body than him. Darby just looks like a little child in that ring trying to go. It's not believable. And I know it's pro wrestling and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the biggest guy against but even he's half the size of Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels was known as a small champion. He's more like a Rey Mysterio, but when people go back and look at Rey Mysterio, they're not like, dude, do you remember Rey Mysterio's like world championship reign? That was like fun. That's not what we talk about with Rey Mysterio, because they gave hit to him for the same reason why they did with Darby. And who did Rey wrestle? His friends, right? He wrestled the Eddies, or not Eddies, but he wrestled the Batistas and so on like that. JBLs, I think.
So he wrestled the Undertaker too, but
the Undertaker, but that's what I mean. So they did it, and I think that's kind of what they're doing with Darby. I think Darby wrestled Ciampa, which they have a good match. He's going to wrestle his best friend Brody King. It's going to be a good match, and then he'll probably end up wrestling MJF and lose the belt. And then Tony Khan gave Darby Allin a bone for planting the flag on Mount Everest. I mean, I think it's an eye for an eye. So I don't hate it, and I didn't think it was as bad as you thought it was. He's the champ, and now they're just trying to get through it. And I think they're doing it so far pretty well. I also, Brody and Darby can have a little thing going on right now where, hey, I squashed MJF. Well, I squashed MJF. So who squashed MJF like better, right? The last two guys. So hopefully they bring that up. But nonetheless, I thought it was a fun way. And I like that Ciampa was throwing his blood all over Tony Khan, cut away from the camera. When blood hits your camera, don't continue to air the episode with blood all over it. Messed up the viewing, how it the scene, it took them 35 minutes to wipe the blood off that camera. Cut away, have the guy wipe the camera, then cut back to the camera once the blood's cleaned up. But Ciampa's blood was on that camera way too long for my liking.
Yeah, I think Tony Khan thinks that stuff is cool. Fans are gonna love this, and
it threw the shot off. It made it blurry because it couldn't focus because the blood was on it. It was a very weird. It was cool at first, but then you cut away. You don't leave it for ever. Yeah. But
I mean, this match was fine. I mean, I do think, like you were saying, I do think they need to bring up the fact that both of these guys squashed MJF. But again, I think that also hurts MJF too. The fact that both of these guys squashed him, the way that they did. But I'm excited for Brody and Darby. It should be a fun match and an entertaining match, and hopefully this gets us over the hump to get to Double or Nothing.
I think it will. And with that, too, one last thing. We're getting Okada and Takeshita finally at Double or Nothing. So talk about stories. That's another one that's had a story being built forever. And that match is going to feed families. So I'm very much looking forward to Takeshita and Okada at Double or Nothing finally.
Yeah, finally. About time we got that one. Long overdue, but excited about it nonetheless.
Yep. All right. There you go. That's our AEW review of the week. Only one episode. So the LVD MVD will be very easy because it's just this episode. But next week we'll have Collision playoffs or whatever and Dynamite. Playoff Palooza plus Collision or plus Dynamite, which has 2 title matches, Darby and Brody King and MJF versus Kevin Knight. So it should be a pretty exciting episode. But let's get into our LVD MVD, where we say our least and most valuable dude and dude out of the week. We don't hate or love him. It's just the worst or best booked. Ryan, who's your LVD of the week?
I feel like there's a laundry list of people that you could choose from for this, but I'm going to go with somebody we haven't talked about so far. And I made reference to it a minute ago, but I'm going to go with Lio Rush. That is my LVD of the week. First of all, this gimmick that he has, it's not working for me. I don't even know what it is. The vampire, is it a vampire? Is he an alien? Is he a werewolf? What is he? But I feel like he's trying to come across like AEW's version of Kane, dark, sinister, character, or AEW's version of Bray Wyatt that multiple personalities that can split into this, whatever this gimmick is. I feel like that's what he's trying to do. And he's coming across more like the boogeyman than anything, where he's just, he's sure, it's cool. I guess it's a cool looking gimmick, but He loses all the time. It's not. I don't take it seriously. And the fact that he can't win a match when he has this gimmick. It's not. I think he's trying to think. I think maybe a better comparison is Finn Balor and the Demon. Like Finn Balor goes to the Demon when he gets to that. Like he has to go there, and he brings out the Demon. And like this is Leo Rush's version of the Demon, I guess. I don't know, but it's just not working. Whatever it is, it's not working. I don't like it. And then he lost to Brody King. And I feel like that's all Leo Rush does in AEW is lose.
I texted you when I was watching this match saying, what the heck is going on with Leo Rush? I'm like laughing at it. That's how bad it is. And he's more like Gollum mixed with like an elf. Where like Gollum from like, my precious. Because he was even running the ropes like, he
looks like the Crypt Keeper.
Yes, it even threw Brody King off. And the funny thing is, I remember when he first did this character a little while ago, and fans were like online, like, oh gosh, this is amazing. And I'm like, no, this is dog shit. And I get that the problem with AEW is that they have one type of wrestler, right? Like somebody hit me up when I said Sol Ruka and Liv Morgan were the two hottest chicks, and someone's like, you got a type. Like that's AEW, right? AEW has a type. People who fly all over the ring. That's their type. You can say it's not, but if you didn't know, if you shadowed them off and you couldn't see who it was between Will Ospreay, Leo Rush, Ricochet, the list goes on. Darby, they all do the same exact shit. They flip, they jump, they do this, they go. So Leo Rush needed to stand out. So maybe this is his way of standing out. But sometimes when you go too over the top, it just doesn't work. Shit, Bray Wyatt's Fiend character is phenomenal, and it didn't work because it was just too over. When shit's too over the top, it doesn't work, and this is not going to work. He's my LBD as well. This is borderline embarrassing. So, like, I felt bad for him. And even Brody King looked like he was keeping it together, trying to stay with it, but I even felt like he was thrown off trying to wrestle him, too. Like, what the hell do I do here? Because it's so unconventional, but yeah, it is. What can you do?
Very strange. Very strange.
Yeah, indeed. All right, let's end it on a high note. The MVD of the week. Who do you got?
Mark Davis. No, I'm just kidding. It's I'm gonna go with. I kind of railed on him a little bit in the main event, but I feel like it's got to be Darby Allin. He made Ciampa tap out. He cut a really good promo. I mean, despite the fact that he wants MJF to earn everything, even though MJF has earned it. I did like the promo, and I think he's getting better and better on the microphone each and every week. And he made Ciampa tap out. He's got people gunning for him. The title picture in AEW right now is pretty stacked with MJF and Brody King and Ciampa, and then there's still the likes of Kenny Omega and Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland and all these other people as well. So I think the title picture in AEW right now is better than it's ever been, and right now Darby Allin is the guy. Whether I like it or not, he is, and so far so good. I think. I mean, he's still got a little bit more work to do. He still doesn't really look the part, but I thought the match against Ciampa was really, really good, and I think the match against Brody King next week will be really, really good as well.
Yeah, Darby's a good pick. You know what? I'm going with the one you made fun of. I'm going to say Mark Davis.
Oh, and yeah?
Not because I think it should be, but when you're Mark Davis and you beat Will Ospreay, how can you not be the most valuable? Because Mark Davis is a seller wrestler beating the guy in the pit house, and that just blows. Like, has Mark Davis had a bigger win than this? I mean, Mark Davis was the bad tag team partner of the Australian tag team with Kyle Fletcher, and was literally only brought in to feud with Kyle Fletcher as like a Marty Jannetty type, and now he's beating Will Ospreay like a year later. This is pretty phenomenal. I mean, I think he's going to do nothing after this because I just don't think he's that guy. The crowd was into it, but AEW, like I said, I can walk into an AEW ring and take a huge shit on the floor, and they would chant "Holy shit!" Literally, they would love it. AEW fans cheer anything; they don't care, and so it just is what it is. But yeah, it has to be Mark Davis, man. If you're gonna beat Will Ospreay and you don't deserve to, and beat him the way, like basically beat him so bad you couldn't wrestle anymore.
Yeah,
that you got to take the W, in my opinion.
That's a solid pick, and I have no disrespect or ill will towards Mark Davis, but
like me neither. I'm not clowning him. It's just it's how he's booked.
Yeah, and the thing is I wish that AEW would have treated that like a bigger deal. That is a huge deal that he beat Will Ospreay, one of the best wrestlers that AEW has ever had.
Yeah.
And they were just like, okay, well, Mark Davis has the win here, and we're going to go to commercial break. And it was just.
Well, the Death Riders came out, remember?
That's true.
They got distracted by the Death Riders. Yeah.
That's true. The Death Riders did come out. So, but still, I feel like they should have treated it like a bigger deal. Then have the Death Riders come out. But let Mark Davis get a little bit of an ovation. Let him soak it in that he just beat, the arguably one of the faces of AEW. Like let him have his moment, because that was a big win for him.
Yeah, I agree fully. All right, there you go. That's our AEW weekend review. We're back, baby. 4 weeks missing. We did another one. We're back in a groove. We're doing our thing. As always, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Our WWE video is up, so go check that out if you watch WWE, and go check out our WrestleMania review show too, which got over 7,000 views. We're loving you guys. As always, if you just want to check me out, I'm at my_wrestling_opinion on all your social media, trying to get to 20K on TikTok, so help me out. And with me, as always, is
Ryan Enjoys Wrestling on all your social media platforms, so go follow me over there. Go follow us as the podcast on X at 2DudesPC, on Twitch at 2Dudes_with-attitudes, Instagram 2Dudes-with-attitudes podcast, TikTok at 2Dudes-with-attitudes, and right here on YouTube at 2Dudes-with-attitudes. So go follow us, go subscribe, do your thing, and help us out. And then if you're listening to us on audio and Spotify, or audio podcasts, Apple and Spotify, all that jazz, go leave us a 5-star rating and review. We're in the top 10% of all listened to wrestling podcasts. Help us climb up the ranks and get into that top 5%, the top 1%. And the way to do that is by listening, subscribing, rating, reviewing us, 5-star ratings. You can tell everyone about your favorite two dudes on the internet. Every little bit helps, and we appreciate everyone's love and support.
All right, Two Dudes Wolfpack, we out.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. Two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on.